head, and there he goes. Abyss gonna clean him up.
Olaf goes down. Everyone's just gonna line up here for Lazzy. He's gonna find himself the Quadra. Give it to him. Pentakill.
Priestley with the quad feed.
Gets the ace. Available just spin to win all over.
That game was insane.
Action. I'm John Billbangs Udema, joined here today with Josh Fundy Pafundi. How you doing today, Josh? You're looking forward to some exciting preseason action.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Like, I'm pretty excited, you know, start of the season, first game of the preseason. Like, I'm excited to see what our roster can do, and I'm excited to see what Bay State brings to the table as well.
Should be an exciting game so far. Obviously, all these guys on our team at least are new, so interesting to see how these guys are going to line up with each other, how they're going to be able to play with each other. And I guess it's our last game that we haven't really broadcast yet. We've got a couple as well that we have to do. But how do you feel so far being back, you know, in person with each other? And how do you think these guys are feeling being back in person with each other to play these games?
Honestly, I feel like being in person as a team, you know, it brings that coordination, and it also just brings like the hype when the players themselves are playing they're playing off of each other, and they're right there, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So, looking forward to our game number 1. We did just drop on patch 11.18. A lot of changes. I think there was like 32 champions or something that got buffed or nerfed. It was just a couple days ago. So, a lot of changes that these guys are going to have to make in a very short amount of time. I think that brings a lot of it'll be interesting to see whether they stick to stuff from the last patch or if they, you know, try something new. Obviously, Talon and Zed got buffs in the jungle. A couple other big changes throughout the scene. What do you think, and how do you think these teams play? Obviously, it is preseason, so you have a little bit more leeway to kind of try stuff out, see how you want to, you know, play each role. And do you think that they go for something more conservative, where, you know, you just kind of want to get comfortable with your teammates, or do you think you start trying stuff out, especially as a coach, trying to make those kinds of decisions?
Given that it's preseason, I could totally see them just sticking to the meta picks, you know, playing like a regular comp that they're comfortable with, you know, getting used to it, getting used to playing with each other. But I would also love to see some off-meta picks. You know, I'm a huge fan of that personally, so
I think it's really exciting when you see those kind of weird picks, and that's why I like seeing Zed's gotten buffed in the jungle multiple times throughout the last couple months. So I think it's definitely going to rise in priority. Obviously, it is a long shot because it doesn't really provide a good CC for jungle, which is huge, especially at high-level play. But I still think it'd be interesting to see. And, yeah, a lot of those off-meta picks are going to be super exciting for us to try out. And, you know, obviously all these guys are new. What do you think's going on in their heads right now? What do you think's going on in the head coach's head as well?
I could see some nervousness going on with them, but you know, I hope they're just getting ready to play.
Yeah, look, they're pretty relaxed up there in the room. I think they're looking pretty good. Looks like we are going to be getting into Champ Select here. So first bans are going to be Jax and Thresh.
Okay.
So we got a Galio ban from Bay State. And what do you think about, obviously, Jax not exactly a super high priority around high-level play right now, but maybe it's a specific target ban. For our new top laner, Ricky, coming into his first season here, how do you think these guys are going to line up?
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see a Jax ban first. That's kind of like a hyper carry you won't really see in like a lot of coordinated play, but
yeah. So it looks like we got Lee Sin banned, Aatrox, and LeBlanc are going to be the final bans. A lot of, I'd say, meta bans from St. Clair. Obviously, LeBlanc always has a lot of agency in a game. Thresh, a really strong support right now, because I feel like a lot of stuff going in right now as supports is engaged. So like Leona, Nautilus, even Rel are all really good supports right now. So Thresh kind of counters a lot of that. But first pick Jarvan from Bay State. How you feeling about that?
Yeah, good, solid jungle pick, I'd say. We're gonna see the Kindred coming out, possibly from St. Clair here.
Yeah, so it looks like jungler's locked in. Jarvan, Kindred, very different play styles. Jarvan really wants to just gank and gank and gank as much as he can. Get his team ahead early in the game. Kindred just kind of wants to farm it out in the early game. Doesn't really want to do too much. Got a Karma. So good flex pick for the Karma. But yeah, how do you think these junglers are going to line up, and how do you think they want to play this game?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of like push-pull here in the jungle. Like we might see a lot of a lot of engages around those kindred marks, and especially when it comes up on that scuttle there. So I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, so we got Lulu Aphelios in the bot lane actually locked in for Base State, so interesting to see that. And I like Lulu. I think Lulu's a very, very strong champion in a lot of positions, but Aphelios I feel is a very vulnerable ADC, so you can definitely have a lot of pick potential on that carry. But again, like we saw, the Kindred was the early pick for the jungle, so not a lot of good CC, reliable CC, so Aphelios might just get more of a easier lane than you think he would.
Yeah. As long as they can hit, maybe if this Karma can get some slows on the Aphelios, kind of peel, that Kindred can drop her R, maybe they can shut down the Aphelios, but then again, they do have that Lulu. That is definitely going to be a threat, especially the longer we go on into this game.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a couple of mid lane bans from St. Clair, Zoe and Xerath, and a support Braum ban from Base State, and they have one ban left. We'll see who it is, but who are you looking for? Obviously, Karma is a flex pick. Oh, Scion actually is going to be the ban in the top lane there. So one ban for the support, one ban for top lane. And Karma is still flexible, can go not as good as in top or mid as she was before, but still a viable pick for both of those lanes. So
a fairly squishy team coming out from St. Clair right now. I want to see what these last two picks will look like. Maybe they'll get some beef for the front line.
Yeah, so it looks like they are going to have, I believe it's for sure their top lane is still need to be picked. Lysandra actually is going to be the pick for the mid lane, so they can still flex that Karma to top or support. So they are going to have a lot for Base State to think about here. Orianna is going to be the mid lane pick. The Jarvan-Orianna combo, very, very potent, especially if you can get multiple people caught out. That can be a game changer.
For sure.
And looks like Gnar. So final pick there. Pretty standard comp, I'd say, from Base State. You got your tanky and Gnar and Jarvan. You got your Orianna good control mage in the mid lane, and your Aphelios for that late game with Lulu able to stay on top of him, give him what he needs. So pretty standard there for Base State. St. Clair is going to have one pick remaining. We'll see what it's going to be, and it looks like it's going to be the Mundo actually. So Mundo got slightly changed now, so his R actually removes Grievous wounds. Oh, actually, we're going to get a set pick. So, interesting pick there. It is going to be Karma support. I guess you could technically flex that Karma and set to jump to a top or support, but I think it's going to be set top.
Yeah, I haven't seen set support in a little bit, but who knows? Maybe maybe they will, but
I definitely like both of these team comps. I think they're really good. I think Bay State does have the really easy to execute team comp, I'd say, where it's really simple. You get Jarvan, EQ in, you get Orianna, throw the ball on him, R into a team fight, and you probably roll them pretty hard. But it's going to be a challenge for St. Clair's first day, because they are going to have the more difficult team comp to try and work around, but definitely could do a lot in this game.
Yeah, Bay State has that very engage heavy, dive heavy comp, and then we're seeing a lot of long range and more poke oriented picks from St. Clair with that Varus pick. We got Lysandra as a mage, and then Kindred, just always trying to get that range buff, attack speed.
So to both these teams, definitely going to be interesting to see how they play out. How are you expecting this first 10 to 15 minutes to go so in this game?
I think honestly, it all comes down to these first scuttle crabs. If a kill, even if a kill comes off of this, that is a huge advantage for whichever team gets there. And if Bay State is the one who ends up picking up that kill, then I think they could steamroll this game with their comp.
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like Set will be locked in the top lane there. So Ricky will be taking that on. And Set is I do like Set. I think he's a really good champion, offers a lot. Obviously, he's able to kind of displace a lot of members of, you do kind of want that Jarvan to come into your team. But if he does end up EQing in, you can take Set and just kind of throw him back out to his own team. Yeah. So it's a pretty effective tool to try and get rid of that the EQ threat from Jarvan. And obviously the Gnar coming in, he is going to be able to have a lot of access on your team. But Lysandra, not exactly a pick that I've seen a lot of lately. I think it's an interesting one. I don't really know. Obviously, it was taken pretty late. But what do you think about that pick? Me as well. I haven't seen a lot of Lysandra. It could just be Take Young's main. The champ he's comfortable on, and he wants to get that. But I don't know. I want to see how this plays out against the Orianna in the lane. Yeah, and I think it's really, really key to get a lot of your comfort out. Obviously, like we said, all these guys playing for the first time for St. Clair. And when you start playing at this, really organized level of League of Legends, it's totally different than, playing solo queue at home. You need to be able to understand exactly, what your teammates are going to do, what you want to contribute, where your role is in the team, and where you want to go. Like, even just shot calling, where you want to go for objectives is super important. So being comfortable on a champion, at least when you're comfortable enough on a champion, you can kind of, you don't have to worry so much about your micro mechanics. You can worry more about, what does my team want to do? Where should I be right now? How am I going to manage the waves and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the comfort picks, I think they're really going to let St. Clair play as a team and not worry about their micro play like you said. And
I think
we'll see.
Yeah, I think another thing too that St. Clair does have is a lot of poke in the bot lane between Varus and Karma.
Sure.
Obviously, you do have the Lulu shielding that can help out this Aphelios, but Varus has been seen quite a lot in pro play this year. I think he's up at like 50 or 60% pick ban, which is pretty high for an ADC, and he's been slightly nerfed, but not too badly. So he still definitely has a viable spot here on the Rift. So how do you think this bot lane is going to go? What is Bay State going to have to do to try and relegate some of those weaknesses in the early game?
Yeah, I could see Bay State just playing really passive here, farming up that Aphelios, waiting maybe until even level 6 just for any kind of engage here, unless they get some jungle help early on.
Yeah, for sure. And Kindred, obviously a champion that you kind of want to just let it farm for a while, let her get up to at least, like a couple stacks on her passive. And then, that's when you start looking for these team fights, because she can be so much more effective when she has that, farm lead. And obviously, like we said, definitely two different jungle games. Jarvan wants to gank, get his team ahead early, especially the top lane with that Gnar. You want to try and get him ahead early. Kindred just kind of wants to farm it out, wait till later in the game when she picks up a lot more damage, a lot more range. That's when she become way more effective.
Yeah, I really think the early game, this first 5 to 10 minutes, it's really going to come down to this Jarvan, how these ganks play out. If this Kindred can get a CS lead quickly, then we might just see Jarvan behind the whole game. But then again, there's always that chance, you get that all combo with the Orianna, and the team fight could totally turn the tide of the game.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question: is can this duo of Varus and Karma escape that inevitable, the Gnar hopping on top of you, the Jarvan hopping on top of you, the Orianna ball on top of one of them, and are they going to be able to escape that? Because if they will, the game's probably going to be pretty easy for St. Clair. But if they end up getting caught in those AoE ults, you're going to have a really tough time winning this game, especially because, you do have the Kindred, which does kind of counter, I guess, a lot of the stuff that Bay State's going to want to do, right? Because if you can throw down that Kindred ult before you get CC'd, you can actually allow your team to survive. Karma healing, shielding can help you get back up, and you can get back in a fight. So I think it is going to be really down to this jungle matchup, how it's going to play out. I feel like that's a lot of League, though, is how well the junglers do kind of determines how well the game goes. So looks like we're starting here in just a couple minutes. Definitely some exciting action. What are your predictions for this game?
Predictions for this game? Yeah, I could see. I think I could see St. Clair possibly coming out on top in the later game, but yeah, this early game is really gonna. I think this early game is all on BSU.
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to remind you guys, we do have a giveaway going on, totally free. All you have to do is follow, like, and retweet. It's pinned on the Saints Twitter. So go take a look, go enter in, really easy. You want a free shirt, you want a free jacket, you want a free sweater, you want free whatever you want. Just enter the giveaway, and one of you will be winning that. So it ends on September 10th. So hurry up, get in that giveaway, and get yourself some free Saints merch. So as I was saying, my predictions for this game, I think I agree with you. If they get to the late game, I think it's totally going to be about execution on that Gnar and on the Jarvan Orianna combo. If they can get that off and get that, have like before Kindred can ult, if they can AoE, Varus or Karma and get those picks, huge for them. But if they aren't able to execute that properly, I really like St. Clair. I really like the follow-up they can provide, and I think they are going to end up on top in these team fights. So getting on to the Rift here in just a moment. Any last thoughts?
I'm actually pretty excited to see how this top lane plays out as well. Gnar into set, it's kind of he's got that range advantage. Gnar's got that range advantage initially, but then when he goes mega, you kind of just get to see a nice brawl. So always exciting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really key for Set to, you know, as much because Set does have a lot of agency in the early game. I think he actually plays pretty well, and can obviously with that passive getting his health back, he is able to kind of sustain himself in early game. But Jarvan always going to be a threat, always going to do a lot of ganking early, so he is going to have to be really careful. Try and keep himself, you know, even with this Nara as long as possible, and then when those late game team fights come, look for the Set to just absolutely dominate and turn those fights around for his team as much as he possibly can. So, sounds like we are getting on the Rift here. St. Clair Saints, League of Legends, game number 1 of this preseason here between Bay State and St. Clair. Can I get some shoutouts in chat and everyone excited for this? This is going to be an awesome game, and here we go.
We're really getting into it here. We're going to see teams line up, probably take some spots around the river.
Interesting. They're going for a level 1 here. So St. Clair. Oh, they're waiting for this Orianna to try and hop in this special. Lissandra is going to face check this first. She is going to see the Orianna, but she does have ball in that bush, so the level 1 will not work out here. Oh, Set actually is going to catch her with the E. So a little bit of early damage there. They're going to trade back and forth, but Orianna already down to a couple HP. She's going to back. She's going to be okay. Nothing too big to worry about.
Fine before minions hit the lane.
Yeah, so a good try. Good, a little bit cheeky from St. Clair early. Something they wanted to try out. Obviously, didn't quite work out like they wanted it to, but it's good to see them, you know, trying some stuff out early. Obviously, this preseason, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. If you can get that early invade, maybe even if it's just a flash off of the Orianna, that is huge for our mid lane here.
Yeah, for sure. So looks like everyone's going to be going in their standard position. Kindred and Jarvan both going to be starting off in the top half here. So Jarvan does have a lot of options. Obviously, he does at level 2. He does that EQ combo, so he does have options. He can just go right from the buff to top lane here. So I don't know. Set obviously very hard to take down in the early game. That W shield gives him a lot of, you know, eases a lot of the pressure that you would normally have as a top laner going into level 3, level 4 when junglers really like to gank there. So we'll see if Jarvan just goes right for the Gromp. Yeah, he does. So it looks like jungler's just going to farm it out here early. Nothing too surprising. And how do you think this mid lane matchup's going to work out?
I personally, I haven't seen Lissandra in a while, so I would like to see what she can do. I think that that long range poke, I personally think the Lissandra is easier to hit than Orianna. We're gonna see a little trade in the top lane.
A lot of trading here in the bot lane, actually. There's a lot of poke going down from both these teams. Look like St. Clair will get first. Barlow and Fresh looking to get a little poke out, but they will be respected there in the bot lane. The Aphelios and Lulu, they can really do so much. And I also want to point out too, in the bot lane, both supports actually brought Ignite instead of bringing, you know, Exhaust or something along those lines. They actually ended up bringing those more potent summoner spells. So might be looking like a little bit more aggressive here for both of these players. Oh, looks like Set's going to go on the top lane. He's going to miss his E, though. Jarvan, ooh, there's going to be a fight here. Jarvan has double buffs. I don't know if they want to E-hug. Actually, he's going to get caught by the EQ. Looks like he's going to go for this 1v1. He's not going to flash over the wall just for the moment. Oh, look, flash spot out, and Lulu going to have first blood there. Both supports flashing Ignite down on Karma as well. Karma is going to die here. Oh, just for the moment going to stay alive, but no. Orianna's going to pick up that kill. 4 people in jungle here for Bay State, and that's going to be 3 kills starting off. Oh, looks like Nara going to flash the top lane. He's going to survive. But 3 minutes in here, 3 kills for Bay State. Not looking too good for St. Clair here in the early game.
Yeah, that was beautiful to see, just the way all 4 of them just converged on that jungle as soon as they saw the Kindred. They knew they were going to win that fight, and they capitalized on it.
Yeah, so definitely well played by them. Flashes down by both supports to try and, you know, keep their junglers alive for the moment there, but Kindred goes down early. And Orianna, obviously, when you're fighting in the enemy's jungle, it's really hard to get there first because the prio was definitely on Bay State there. So looks like the scuttle will go to Kindred. I believe it was the marked one, actually, so she will get that mark. So a small win for St. Clair, but when you end up giving 3 kills over to 3 members of the enemy team, there's not much you can look forward to here in this early game.
Yeah. After that, this might come down to the top lane here. I mean, you see the Set has the flash on Gnar. He might just be able to get a lot of nice trades here and maybe even get like a greedy flash for a kill, but
I think Gnar, especially with the really long early cooldown, is really susceptible to, you know, being flashed on by the Set. Unfortunately, Jarvan, I feel he did get 3 assists. He did pick up that pickaxe, so he definitely has an advantage over this Kindred in the early game. But one thing that did happen was the Lulu picked up 2 kills. So as much as, you know, that wasn't looking too good for St. Clair, 2 kills did go on the support. So obviously we saw the Varus and the Karma were doing pretty well by themselves in the early game. So 2 kills on the Lulu helps them out a little bit, but you can even see they're still holding, despite the fact that Lulu's 2 kills, she got boots, they're still holding this wave right where they want it to, near their bushes. So surprising. Looks like Mike gonna go down here in the bot lane. Varus gonna throw down a lot of damage onto Aphelios. He's going down to 150 health. It looks like he's gonna root it here for the moment. He's gonna live here, but looks like it seems like St. Clair, despite being down 2 kills in the bot lane. Ooh, actually 1v1 in the top lane here. Set looking to try and get an advantage. He's gonna flash here for the true damage onto this Gnar. Gnar's gonna live. He does get his E back up though for the moment. That means he is gonna live and he's gonna be able to stay alive. Jarvan getting bot lane here. Varus gonna be Barlow, gonna be all but dead here in the bot lane. TP gonna come down though. Set's gonna come here and join the fight. 2 kills looking great. Oh, Lissandra actually gonna pick up 1. Karma picks up 1, and there's gonna be no mana on that. And Lissandra gonna pick up another huge for St. Clair there. Tak Young picking up 2 kill and assist in the bot lane, and a lot of those obviously still was a 1-for-2. Varus did die, but when you're behind 3 kills, it's definitely a lot better feeling for St. Clair.
And Lulu actually happened to pick up another one of those kills, so now we're seeing Lissandra with a kill. Aphelios still 0-1-3. He's even down in CS on this Varus, so I still think St. Clair has pressure on the bot lane here. I still think they're going to be able to outpoke them, and yeah, I don't think the Lulu is going to be able to outshield these Qs.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for Lulu to do much in this lane. Obviously, Lissandra picking up the kill was huge there, and it was the advantage. You did see Orianna TP back to the mid lane to try and recover some farm. So that was the reason why Lissandra was able to TP, and you know, the other mid laner wasn't. So looks like they're going to swap here for the moment. Varus going to be alone here in mid lane. He's going to get slowed up by that. Oh, that's going to be it. Orianna with the R, and that's going to be Lulu picking up a 4th kill. So not exactly what you want. Brain here actually going to pick up a 4th kill on that support Lulu. Looks like Gnar going to throw out the R, but just kind of throwing the set off. Not really sure that was used. I mean, obviously it does have a pretty low cooldown, but interesting to see him kind of use that just to keep the set off of him, at least for the moment. So, so far, 7 minutes into this game, 7 kills, 5 of them going to base state here. But state of the lanes actually doesn't look too bad for St. Clair right now.
Yeah, like we said, a lot comes down to the fact that Lulu got 4 of the kills. I mean, it's gonna help, but it's not exactly what you want to see for base state. It's especially when you've got that Aphelios who could be getting the lead early. We're gonna see a little scuffle go down here in the bottom lane. Jarvan gets the dragon, and then we're just gonna go back to farming.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to see. It looks like Karma's going to go in here on the Aphelios. Oh, put out a lot of damage onto that Lulu. Q's going to go down. Oh, it's going to hit her, but not quite going to get the kill. Lulu just barely surviving there. And that's, she does have another shutdown, actually. She did already give up 1 to Lissandra. She has another 150 gold shutdown in the bot lane. So definitely a lot of juice there for St. Clair to try and pick up. But it's interesting to see. The Lulu does have 4 kills, but what she ended up getting with it were boots and the anti-healing orb. So it's interesting to see. Ooh, looks like Kindred might have overstepped here. Doesn't have ults up yet. Is going to stick around with Set here, but nothing is going to happen. They're just going to try and walk away. Lissandra also floating over there. It looks like Jarvan going to walk in the river here. Doesn't realize there's 3 people. Ult's going to go down by this. Oh, looks like Set going to pick up a kill already. E-Hug just going to survive at the moment. No, he's going to go down in the end to the ults from Orianna. Looks like they're going to try and keep him alive here for the moment. Rylak can try and survive. 1-for-1. Lissandra and Gnar both go down. Orianna here to try and kill this Karma. Karma is going to go down. Second to pick up the double kill for the moment. Orianna's going to come back, though. Looks like Lulu going to be staying alive here for just a second. Poking to go down there, trying to get it to the Orianna. That's going to be it. The auto going to go down. And Orianna picking up double buffs now. 403, but the bound bot lane here. Varus going to go in. Does get the flash out of the one, and that's going to be it. Varus, Barlow picking up a kill, getting some redemption for himself. Kills all across the board, and looks like pretty even actually in the end of that one.
Yeah. I'm not really liking the decisions this Kindred is making for St. Clair. E-Hug, he's making a lot of very greedy plays on this enemy jungle, and he's getting punished for it, honestly.
Oh, looks like they're going to go in here. Kindred is going to be here for the gank, so Orianna try and stay alive here. Does have a lot of damage with those double buffs and with the lost chapter here in the mid, so looks like gank's not going to work out for the moment. But Orianna now sitting at 403 is very far ahead, and up 25 farm on this Lysandra. This Orianna pick looking really good for Bay State here. And just the action just keeps going. Jarvan gonna get the pick onto Karma, and Orianna gonna pick up a 5th kill already 9 minutes into this game. It's looking really good for Saranoc here in the mid.
Yeah, we're seeing these combos here. This Jarvan very gank heavy, and it's working out, and we're starting to see the steamroller come online.
Looks like Alt's going to go down here for the moment. Not going to be able to kill. Ooh, that's dangerous. Orianna down to 100 HP here. Lysandra pretty low too. Can't really go in on that. Jarvan looking for something here. But not going to find it. Kindred, meanwhile, is going to be taking that Rift Herald on top. And Lysandra does not have this ult up for 2 seconds here. Oh, that's going to be it. Jarvan goes for the execute with the R, and he is going to survive here for the moment. Yeah, so Lysandra actually had ult up in about 2 seconds, but she didn't have enough mana to pull that one off. So Orianna going down in this mid lane, down 30 farm and 5 kills already. This mid is not looking too good for St. Clair.
And then in the bot lane, we're just going to see more poking out here from this Varus. You know, Karma using her ulted Qs. Oh, Root coming in from Aphelios. And it's looking like we're just going to disengage here unless...
Oh, TP going to come in. I believe it's a Set. Double TP's coming in for both sides here. Set is going to arrive first, but Gnar is going to arrive second. R going to go right back into his team. He is going to capture Gnar. Gnar is still in mini. He doesn't have Mega Gnar yet, so he's not going to be able to live for very long. Set with W, but no. Barlow going to go down really early here. And Aphelios going to throw 2 more autos. Oh, and the big Q by Ralik is going to pick up that kill onto the Set. So good effort by bot lane and the top laner there, but a good answer there. Good TP by Gnar. Able to actually huge by Lulu Air to keep him alive, even though he was in mini form. And it means that, you know, a couple more kills go over to Bay State. And this early game, definitely looking more favored towards them.
Yeah, they picked up a plate there in the bot lane. We're just going to see even Jarvan is up in farm on this Kindred, which is not exactly what you want to see as a Kindred player. You can be down in kills, that's fine. But if you're going to be down in farm, you're really looking behind.
Yeah, for sure. If you look at the itemization across, you know, all players here, Orianna already on that Luden's Echo in the mid lane with a book and with the tier stacking. Lysandra just sitting on a Lost Chapter and a Blasting Wand. Kindred not even on half. There's barely on half an item right now. Jarvan already has Gore Drinker and his free boots. And obviously Lulu sitting at 4, 1, and 7 already has the anti-heal, which is huge, and has 8 stacks. I didn't even see she bought a Dark Seal and has 8 stacks already on that Dark Seal. So definitely a lot of confidence there in the ball lane, and deserved. She is 4, 1, and 7, so she's... Oh wow, that is a lot of damage on Lysandra. That's gonna be... Oh, she's gonna live just barely with the R, but things not looking too good. Kindred gonna hop out of that R from Jarvan, but is she gonna live here for the moment? Big Q, and that's gonna be a Q from Orianna, and Saranoc just looks unstoppable on this Orianna right now.
Yeah, he's really he's finding a lot of these R's. I think he's missed 1, maybe 2, but all of them, almost all of them, have converted into a kill, which is definitely what you want to see. Definitely what Bay State is trying to do. It's what their comp is supporting. And now we're seeing the Karma move to the top lane. She's gonna back here.
So that's 2 dragons actually for the side of Bay State. So they're winning objectives. We do have an Ocean Soul coming up, which is definitely not something that you want to see if you're St. Clair. Definitely something good for Bay State here. They are ahead. 4.5k gold already at 13 minutes. This is looking like a really tough game for St. Clair to come back in.
Yeah, that Ocean Soul will really be tricky. You're just giving, on top of the Lulu peel, you're just giving more survivability to both the Aphelios and the tanks. And then this Orianna is just going to sit in the back line and toss her ball around.
Yeah, it's looking tough. Obviously, we finally did get that first item for this Karma coming through. Muramana completed there for the Varus. He's just going to try and farm it out for as long as he can. I think, like you said, we really did need to see a lot of farming out of the early game from St. Clair. And it seems like after that pick that happened, or I guess that big fight that happened in the top lane by the blue buff of Jarvan there, it just seems like every fight after that was just Bay State, Bay State, Bay State.
Yeah, Jarvan really has the map presence in this game. We're going to see Kindred come in for a gank here. Flash is taken by... Flash used by Gnar.
Yes, they're going to stack 3 here. Karma's actually coming too. So definitely
going down.
Positive for them. They are going to look like they're going to get this turret. Orianna and Lulu starting to head up towards the top lane there. But they will get this turret on the last punch. Yeah, Shelly gives the last punch to that turret. It does go down. So first turret does go to St. Clair, but will they pay for it with their life? No. Big flash by Kindred to keep herself alive. And they are going to be okay for the moment here. Orianna, level 11 with the Luden's boots already. Oh, that's going to be a lot of damage. And looks like Kindred is going to go down. Set is going to go down in just a moment. Serenok on Legendary already. Gnar out here in just a second. Orianna going to pick up the kill anyway. 904 on this mid laner. And it looks... Oh, Lulu going to go for the flash. And she's going to get the karma under turret. That is just demoralizing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, when you're saying Claire, you finally get that back, a little bit of gold back from that first tower, and just right back to resetting the lead.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like Barlow overstayed his welcome here in the mid lane. He is going to go down. Jarvan going to pick up a kill for himself here at 2-1-13. He is having an excellent game. Mid and jungle are having so good of a game from the side of Bay State here, and it just seems like this Kindred was maybe not the best pick for this one.
Yeah, especially after the Jarvan was the first pick. He like, I don't want to say he counterpicked himself, but with the way he's playing, he kind of did. He's playing really greedy. Everyone is kind of stepping up when they're really behind, especially in items, everything. And yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing here, the Aphilio's pretty far behind at 1, 2, and 4, so he is about even in farm, and the Varus is looking okay. But other than that, like, you got the Lulu 5-1-10, the Jarvan 2-1-13, just massive gold leads there. And really the only thing you can hope for now is a shutdown onto this Orianna. That could really turn the game, and that could help him out. But it's just looking like a really tough game for St. Clair to try and come back in.
Down in levels too, they're just going to be straight up weaker in these fights. So unless they have numbers advantage, I really don't see them doing anything other than just farming up here.
Yeah, you kind of have to play for as long as you can. A long game. Hopefully, you know, you get your Varus and your Kindred to that point where, you know, 40 minutes scaling. Oh, looks like Kindred almost gets one shot over the wall there by the Orianna. Does barely manage to survive from that Karma Shield, but man, when you're getting one shot from the Fog of War, it's such a tough game to try and do anything.
Bay State, just all of them rotating down from this rift, just chasing after this Kindred.
Barely
gets away.
Oh, dodges the Q, but no, the flash is going to secure the kill there. And with Dragon coming up just a little bit, it might not be the best time. Looks like Karma going to be all by herself here, or Sandra, sorry, all by herself in the bot lane. Serenok, Legendary yet again, and mid laner just having the time of their lives right now.
Yeah, at this point he's playing an assassin. We're going to see little scuffle go down here in mid lane. Just a couple pokes. Rift coming down bottom, I believe.
Yeah, so that was dropped in the bot lane. He's going to go with that Gnar, try and push out, see what they can get here. Not going to be much, just a couple charges here. But obviously mid lane tower, the only one standing here for St. Clair. Pretty much their jungle has been entirely taken over. Down 8k gold in this game. There's just nothing you can do at this point, right? You're finally coming through with your first item on Kindred. She did finally pick up that Kraken Slayer. But Orianna's already on, you know, 2.5 items.
Yeah.
She will one-shot you anywhere you walk. So basically, as soon as you see the Orianna, you got to drop your R or you're going to die. And it's so hard, like you were talking about. You have the Gnar ult, you have the Jarvan ult. Like, you have to try and save that R for as long as possible. But what can you do?
Yeah, you really want to save that Kindred R for your team, but then again, if you're going to get picked off, then you're just leaving your team out to dry at that point, so it's really a tough spot for this Kindred here. Ehug definitely going to have a hard time. We're seeing him over at these wolves here, while Bay State is chasing down.
Barlow is not looking like he's in a good spot, and this is, I think, like the 3rd or 4th time he's been forcing up that mid lane. And he just seems to get caught out. He had to burn his flash there, does survive. But it does seem like he's playing quite aggressive. You know, when you don't have any pressure in the jungle, you have both other outer turrets gone. You can't be walking up in that mid lane thinking you can just farm it out, because you're going to get collapsed on.
Yeah, and then again, we're seeing them push up a lot without vision here as well. Teamfight coming in. Lulu all going to charge for herself. Was looking good for St. Clair, but then Bay State kind of turned it around. We're going to see the Kindred all come out. Saves the Kindred. Kindred goes down. Set's running away. Lissandra goes down. It's going to be a triple kill for Orianna. She's just getting more and more fed. I'm surprised she hasn't picked up a Dark Seal. Instead, we're seeing it on the Lulu, but
Lulu's already at 7 stacks, and it's just so hard, right? Because I think they played that actually pretty well. They got that initial ult out of Lulu, and obviously they did have to use that Kindred R pretty early, but it did save, you know, 3 or 4 people's lives. But there's only so much you can do when the Orianna's that far ahead, the Jarvan's that far ahead, because as soon as that R goes down, Jarvan initiates onto the middle of your team. He catches 2 people in his Cataclysm, and you're just dead. You're just sitting in the water, just nowhere to go, nothing to do, and you know you're just so far behind at this point. 10k gold almost. There's just not much you can play for.
Yeah, and then we're most likely going to see Bay State pick up this Ocean Soul, and that might just close out the game here. We're going to see Fresh just getting some vision down in the jungle, clearing it out. They're kind of just waiting for farm here.
Yeah, I think really the only thing you can do is try and get this Orianna. Obviously, she does have the Banshees, which makes her that much harder to try and initiate on. Because if you're the Set, I think Set played that pretty well. I think Ricky actually had a good play there. He got a pick onto the Lulu, but even then, even with all the stuff you're throwing at the Lulu, she has so much shielding and healing that you just can't, you know, you can't take her down because she can ult herself, she can shield herself, and you just don't have the damage to try and take her down. So what do you think the game plan here for St. Clair is, and the game plan for Bay State here in the next couple minutes?
Yeah, St. Clair, they really just got to focus down this Orianna, but that's going to be hard with the Lulu ult, and they're really using all of their resources on Peel when they need to be using it to try and take out some of these early... Oh, Jarvan going to get the pick there on Varus. That might just close out this team fight. Set's going to ult the Aphelios. Might get something there. Takes him down, but Jarvan's going to take out our Lissandra. And just a disengage here.
Yeah, it just seems like there's only so much you can do when you're this far behind. Obviously, a good pick by the Set. Oh, it does almost get the Lulu there on the W, but doesn't quite get enough damage. Serenok going legendary here, and I think actually Ricky playing that pretty well. Got the early pick on Aphelios. He's the only one you can really get a pick on in this team because they're kind of playing separated. Lulu was with him. Looks like he's going to walk into 4 people here. That is a mistake. That's going to be 2 more kills for Bay State and a Baron on top.
Yeah, this is really, yeah, just almost demoralizing for St. Clair. I mean, they lost that early lead, and they're just being punished for it over and over again in their own jungle. While they still have inner turrets up too, so they should have a safe spot to farm out behind there, but they're really just not having it. Bay State is not letting them have that, and they're really keeping the pressure up with this Orianna and the Jarvan combo.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like there's only so much you can do when the Jarvan has so much. You can just kind of walk up, especially with the Lulu shields on top of him. He can just walk up and EQ you wherever he wants. He's not worried about taking damage. He's not worried about, you know, even getting low because he's just so far ahead. He can EQ Gore Drinker on top of you. He's got the Sterix now. Lulu sitting at 2.5 items. I just don't see how St. Clair even fight for this. No, Karma's going to try and get away with that Shrelia, but that's not going to be enough. She is going to go down to this. Oh, looks like Set going to come in here, pop the shield off of the Orianna, which is actually huge. He's going to get the W just a moment. A lot of true damage go down there, but that's going to be it. Serenok picking up the kill onto him, and the rest of St. Clair running away with nothing to do, nothing to get. You just,
yeah.
What do you do at this point?
Yeah, they're running it down mid lane with the Baron. Jarvan all going to come out on Varus. Varus going to flash away. Yeah, they're probably going to be able to get an inhib here, if not more. And that Drake is just theirs for the taking at this point. I liked the way St. Clair was trying to set up there, but they really just don't have the resources to fight it out.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the end of the game here. They will take 1 turret, at least for the moment. Redemption going to come down and going to heal the entire team up. They are going to pick up the second one here. Last ditch effort by St. Clair here. Lulu going to ult the Jarvan. He's going to stay alive here for the moment. Jarvan going to try and walk out. Orianna ult going to go down onto the top. Ehug going to die instantly. Not even an ult coming out. Big W actually is going to get 1. They're going to pick up 2 kills. Ricky going to get a big W. He does get the Orianna here. 3 still alive here for the side of Bay State. Can they keep this alive? The Nexus down to half HP. Jarvan going to go in here. Gnar going to Gnar out. Going to get the R here. Karma going to Zhonya's for the moment, but she is going to go down in just a second here as well. Nexus going to go down first. And Bay State take this game in formidable fashion.
Yeah, Bay State, they played beautifully there. They played coordinated. concise. They knew who they were gonna pick before you could tell. Like they saw them caught out in the jungle. They said, "We're killing this kindred. All of us are grouping up on this kindred," and that really just snowballed the game.
Yeah, I definitely think the St. Clair didn't quite play to what their game plan should have been. I think, playing around that top lane, you had the top lane advantage with the set over the Gnar. Obviously, we saw a lot of that in the early game, and he kind of, had his advantage in the top lane. But a couple of skirmishes, especially that early skirmish when Kindred tried to invade the red on Jarvan, really not quite what you want to do when you're Kindred. Wasn't quite sure that was. I mean, obviously, I think the way Ehug might have thought about it was, the mark is in the top on the top scuttle, so Jarvan might think I'm going up there, so I'm going to get his red. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out, and he didn't have the ward to, check if the red buff was there, so Jarvan did get the pick there, and after that, it kind of just snowballed, especially after they tried to invade on that Jarvan blue, and then they died again. It just seemed like after that, it was just a cascade of walking too far up, going for too many plays when you just, at that point, just got to say, okay, we got to farm it out. We got to calm this game down, and Bay State said we don't want none of that.
Yeah, at that point, like St. Clair was down in almost every lane, and they kept trying to push these plays. You could see, especially in the bot lane, because they did still have a bit of an advantage in the bot lane, but then we just saw these TPs come out, and every time, even if St. Clair was getting a kill or two, we would see Bay State just coming out on top. They would come out 3-4 kills, and it's just what can you do at that point?
Yeah, I think especially there was a lot of times Barlow did get caught out in that mid lane here. I think so. What you want to do as an ADC is once the ball lane seems like you're not really going to be able to do much down there, you move to mid lane, you start farming. But you have to remember, like, it's a Jarvan Orianna. That is an insane amount of mobility, especially with the Lulu. It's an insane amount of mobility, and especially when he's that far ahead, you just have to kind of respect him a lot more than maybe they were doing. And I think just small mistakes. Obviously, like we said, it's preseason. It's the first game they've ever played together. So it was a challenging team comp to try and play around. I think Ricky did really well in the top lane there. He actually ended up going even in that game. Did everything he possibly could to try and keep his team in the game. But at that point, the Orianna's 17-10. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah, it really was looking like that said Ricky, he could have saved a couple of those fights, but he was just too far out from his team. He got that pick on the Aphelios in the last one in St. Clair's red side, but the 4 of the Bay State members are just top lane, just absolutely cleaning up the rest of St. Clair, so...
Yeah, so that's going to be it. Looks like BSU is going to take this game 1-0 in some League of Legends preseason action. We're going to have another game here in just a little bit. We're going to have them playing against Grandview University. So you're going to see that in just a few minutes here. This game goes to Bay State. We're going to see St. Clair again. Hopefully get some redemption here in game number 2. Take some notes from this game, see what you can do to improve, and come up for a better showing in game number 2. Okay.
Yeah, I'd really like St. Clair to play around their vision a little more.
I think so. Yeah, and I think, too, obviously these guys are new. They haven't played together before. I think maybe you want to try a team comp that's a lot easier to pull off. I think this one had a lot of challenges, especially, getting the Kindred ahead early, being able to try and stabilize that Jarvan Orianna in the mid lane. Lysandra, like we said, we hadn't really seen a lot. She's not really a top tier pick right now. So a lot of times, like, yes, you may be comfortable on a champion, but you kind of need to play those top tier champions to keep yourself, relevant in a game. So definitely something to think about. And I do think, as much as that Varus, as Barlow was struggling, obviously, when the Orianna and Jarvan are that far ahead, he did really well in that ball lane. That Lulu picked up, 2, 3, 4 kills in the early game, and they were still winning in that ball lane 2v2.
Yeah, we saw Barlow out there. They were winning almost every single trade down there, and yeah, it really could have come down to that bot lane. Unfortunately, obviously the Orianna and the Jarvan just too ahead, but yeah, I do think that bot lane combo, they do have very nice synergy.
Yeah, I think Fresh was really good as a support. Barlow doing pretty well for himself too. That's going to be it though. Thank you all for joining us. I want to thank especially our sponsors for this season. We got Crunchyroll. You got a 14-day subscription you can get for free if you put in your code there at crunchyroll.com/saints. I want to thank these guys. First year, we have these guys as our sponsors, and it's pretty sick, I have to say, to have Crunchyroll as a sponsor. So thank you to them. I want to thank Tim Hortons as well. I want to thank Subway, the SRC, and St. Clair College Alumni Association. All those guys supporting us for a long time. Appreciate you a lot. So any last notes here?
Yeah. glad to be here. Not the greatest way to start off the season for St. Clair, but we'll see how they play in this next game. You know, they got a second to take a breather here, kind of reset their mental a little bit, and you know, I'd like to see them pick a more easier team comp to play when they haven't had so much practice. The next game is going to be at 7 p.m., so stay tuned for that.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. John Billabang Zudima.
I'm Josh Fundy Pafundi.
Thank you all for being here. 7 o'clock, we'll be back. Join us, and we'll see what St. Clair can do right then. Thank you all. Have a good couple minutes break, and we'll be back.